It was a bright and sunny day in LazyTown. Stephanie skipped through the town square. She had a big smile on her face. It was almost her half-birthday. Stephanie loved birthdays, but she loved half-birthdays even more. It meant twice the cake.
Guess what, Mayor?
Stephanie asked, her eyes sparkling.
It's almost my half-birthday.
Mayor Meanswell almost dropped his watering can.
Your half-birthday, that calls for a celebration. How about a dance party?
News of the half-birthday dance party spread through LazyTown like wildfire. Bessie Busybody started baking a giant cake. It had extra sprinkles, of course. Ziggy bounced around, already imagining the sugary treats.
Oh, I can't wait for all the sugary treats!
Pixel set up colorful lights and speakers. Trixie tried to teach Stingy some dance moves. Stingy mostly complained about stepping on his toes. Everyone was excited.
This cake is going to be fabulous.
High above LazyTown, in his airship, Sporticus did his morning stretches. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting a golden hue over the town. Sporticus loved this time of day. It was peaceful and quiet, a perfect moment to prepare for the adventures ahead. He could see the entire town from his airship, and it always filled him with a sense of responsibility and pride. Today, however, something felt different. He heard the music and saw the townspeople preparing for the party. Banners were being hung, tables were being set, and everyone seemed to be in high spirits. The air was filled with laughter and the sound of children playing. It was clear that this was going to be a big event, and everyone was looking forward to it. He was happy for Stephanie. She had worked so hard to organize this party, and it was wonderful to see her efforts paying off. Stephanie was always full of energy and enthusiasm, and she had a way of bringing people together. Sporticus admired her for that, but a small frown creased his face. Despite the joy around him, Sporticus couldn't shake off a feeling of unease. He was usually so confident and sure of himself, but today something was bothering him. Sporticus was great at many things. He could perform incredible stunts, flip through the air with ease, and run faster than anyone in LazyTown. His athletic abilities were unmatched, and he took great pride in his skills. He could flip, run, and perform feats of strength that left everyone in awe. He was the town's hero, always ready to lend a helping hand and save the day, and rescue anyone in need. Whether it was a cat stuck in a tree or someone in danger, Sporticus was always there to help. His sense of duty and compassion made him beloved by all. But there was one thing he couldn't do: dance. No matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't get the hang of it. The rhythm, the steps, it all seemed so foreign to him. It was the one area where he felt completely out of his element. The thought of looking silly at the party made him nervous. He didn't want to disappoint Stephanie or the townspeople. They all looked up to him, and the idea of failing in front of them was terrifying. He could face any physical challenge, but this was different.
Oh no, what if I make a fool of myself? What if everyone laughs at me? These thoughts swirled in his mind, making him even more anxious. What if I trip over my own feet while dancing? The fear of embarrassment was overwhelming. Sporticus took a deep breath, trying to calm his nerves. He knew he had to face this challenge just like any other, but this time, it wasn't about strength or speed. It was about courage and confidence.
Robbie Rotten watched from his underground lair. He saw Sporticus's worried face through his periscope. A wicked grin spread across his face.
This is the perfect opportunity to embarrass Sporticus.
Robbie came up with a plan. He would disguise himself as a dance instructor. He would teach Sporticus the silliest dance moves imaginable. Then at the party, Sporticus would make a fool of himself.
Ha ha ha, this is going to be great.
Later that day, Sporticus was practicing cartwheels in the park. The sun was shining brightly, and the park was filled with the laughter of children playing. Sporticus loved the energy and joy that filled the air. He felt alive and invigorated as he flipped and spun, his movements fluid and graceful. Suddenly, a tall figure with a bushy mustache approached him. The figure moved with a certain elegance, almost as if he was gliding across the grass. Sporticus paused, curious about this unexpected visitor.
Greetings! I am Jacques Ledance, dance instructor extraordinaire. My reputation precedes me, and I have traveled far and wide to share my knowledge of dance with those in need. I hear you need help with your rhythm. It is said that rhythm is the heartbeat of the soul, and I'm here to ensure that your heart beats in perfect harmony with the music.
It was Robbie Rotten in disguise. He had donned an elaborate costume complete with a fake moustache and a flamboyant outfit, hoping to deceive Sporticus. But Sporticus had no idea. He was completely unaware of Robbie's true identity and intentions. All he knew was that he needed help, and this mysterious dance instructor seemed like the perfect solution. He was desperate for help. Sporticus had always been confident in his athletic abilities, but dancing was a different story. He felt clumsy and out of sync, and it frustrated him to no end.
Oh, thank you. I just don't know any dance moves. I've tried to learn, but I always end up tripping over my own feet. It's so embarrassing.
No problem, I'll teach you the robot boogie. It's the latest craze. Everyone is doing it, and it's actually quite simple once you get the hang of it. Just follow my lead, and you'll be dancing like a pro in no time.
Robbie said, barely able to contain his laughter. He couldn't believe how easily Sporticus had fallen for his disguise. As he began to demonstrate the dance moves, he couldn't help but chuckle at the thought of Sporticus making a fool of himself. The dance party began. Stephanie was surprised to see Sporticus on the dance floor, but he was moving like a rusty robot. It was more funny than embarrassing. The townspeople gathered around, their faces a mix of amusement and confusion. Stephanie couldn't help but chuckle at the sight of Sporticus, usually so agile and graceful, now clunking around like a malfunctioning machine. The music blared and the crowd's laughter grew louder with each of Sporticus's awkward moves.
What are you doing, Sporticus? Stephanie called out, her voice barely audible over the music. She couldn't believe her eyes. Was this really the same Sporticus who could flip and twirl with such ease?
Stephanie asked, giggling. Sporticus stopped, his face turning red. He looked around, realizing that everyone was watching him. The usually confident hero felt a wave of embarrassment wash over him. He scratched his head, trying to figure out what had gone wrong. The crowd's giggles turned into full-blown laughter, and Sporticus's cheeks burned even brighter.
I'm doing the robot boogie, my dance instructor taught me. Sporticus tried to explain, but his words were drowned out by the laughter. He attempted another move, but it only made things worse. His limbs flailed awkwardly, and he nearly tripped over his own feet. Stephanie couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy for him.
Stephanie looked around. She spotted Jacques Ladance hiding behind a potted plant, trying not to laugh. She immediately recognized Robbie Rotten. He was the mastermind behind this embarrassing spectacle. Jacques, or rather Robbie in disguise, had tricked Sporticus into thinking he was learning a new dance move. Stephanie's eyes narrowed as she realized what had happened. She knew she had to act fast to save Sporticus from further humiliation.
Sporticus, that's Robbie Rotten. He's tricking you, Stephanie shouted, pointing towards the potted plant. Sporticus followed her gaze and saw Robbie's unmistakable smirk. Realization dawned on him, and he quickly straightened up. The crowd's laughter began to die down, as they too noticed Robbie's presence. Stephanie stepped forward, ready to confront Robbie and put an end to his mischief once and for all.
Robbie's disguise fell apart. He ran off grumbling about meddling kids and their dance parties. Sporticus was a little embarrassed, but Stephanie smiled at him.
Don't worry, Sporticus. I'll teach you some real dance moves.
Stephanie showed Sporticus some simple steps. Soon, everyone was dancing together. Even Stingy was tapping his foot. They danced and ate cake until their bellies ached. It was the best half-birthday party ever. And for once, Robbie Rotten wasn't invited.